Good morning, everyone. I'm here to talk about the partial lunar eclipse in Taurus that we have on the 28th. And I'm going to jump right into the Sabian Symbols because I think they're pretty incredible. They're really, they're showing us a lot. So the eclipse is happening at 5 degrees and 9 minutes. And so with the Sabian Symbols, we round up. And so the 6th degree for the sun in Scorpio is a gold rush, the appetite to experience more abundance and worldly adventures. And for the moon, it's a bridge being built across a gorge, building bridges to end separation. So I had to draw the planets real quick and just because I had this visualization about this bridge being built over a gorge. So we have the sun, we have the earth, and we have the moon here. And because this is a partial eclipse, the sun's light is still making its way to the moon a little bit. There's this little sliver that will still be illuminated. So it's creating this bridge between our subconscious, the moon, and our consciousness, the sun. This is about bringing our subconscious beliefs, our shadow aspects into our awareness. And I also think it's so interesting how the sun is in Scorpio, highlighting the gold. You know, the sun is the gold. The Sabian symbol is about the gold. And it's Scorpio we have to wade through to find the gold. Scorpio represents ancestors, so ancestral stuff, which can be hard and it can be amazing gifts there. It represents resources, like inherited resources, the earth's resources. And it also represents death and rebirth. So I kept seeing the symbol for the sun in astrology and in Egyptian hieroglyphs is this circle with a dot in the center. And it's so interesting when you think of the solar system and the sun being in the center and Pluto being the outermost planet, the sun being birth, that's the day we're born, and Pluto representing death or rebirth. I kind of see Pluto as this outer realm. He's the outer circle. He's the all, or the goddess, the great mother. And the center is our soul. It's our divine spark in it all. And so we have to explore the all. We have to explore Pluto and the darkness. It's where we come from to get back to the sun, to the rebirth, to the divine spark. So this eclipse is really building a bridge between the two. It's asking us to let go of outdated beliefs so we can inherit that gold, so we can enjoy the abundance that is inherent on the earth. And it's also challenging us to look at our masculine parts that are out of balance. The feminine energy has really been rising. It's been creating this big Pluto circle, right, for us to hold it all. And now we're being asked to really find the gold in it, so we have all of these crazy events happening in the world, and it's this rise of our subconscious beliefs materializing into our reality. And it's all arising so we can take what's happening and use that to look within ourselves and see, how am I using my power? How am I using my resources? How am I respecting or disrespecting the earth's resources? And so depending on where this eclipse is happening in your chart, what houses that the moon and the sun are in, it will affect you differently. So for me, it's self and other. It's first house, seventh house. It's about relationships. So I've been having, and it's also on my north node, on my nodes. So it's kind of like a crazy one for me in a good way though. And I'm having a lot of realizations about where I've given my power away And I feel like this eclipse is also inviting us to connect the throat, Taurus, and the sexual organs and the womb space, Scorpio, and realizing those are connected. Our womb space is our creative space. It's where creation happens, right? And our voice, our word, is another very creative space. The vibration that comes out of our mouth helps create our reality. So how can we really align the two? How can we have a healthy relationship with our womb, our sexuality, and our creative power, our power of magic? Are we using it? Are we embodying right use of power? Or are we manipulating people to get things we want? And all of this, without judgment, it comes back to getting clear about what we want, what we need, and what we desire. And being very clear to stay sovereign about that. And when we can communicate those desires to others, it creates a healthier relationship. And we don't have the need to manipulate. We're in charge of ourselves. We don't need others. We don't need to find weird ways to get others to meet our needs, right? So I think that's about all I have to say right now. I have a lot of cards out to pull, and I'm feeling the energy of Merlin. I'm feeling the elementals big time. They really, one of the ways to balance out Scorpio energy is to lean into Taurus. So it's Scorpio season, and with this eclipse highlighting Taurus, they really want us to get outside and to really sit with the elementals, give our gratitude, just be with them, be with a tree, be with the fire, be with the earth, the wind, the water, and just allow yourself to receive. Our being with them is that's one way we give to them. You could also make offerings, offerings that are safe for the earth, that will, biodegrade, compost into the earth, things like that. But they're really saying, let us remind you of the magic. Let us show you creation. Let us reveal the secrets of how all of this is formed, all of the patterns. And for us to understand, to bridge the masculine and the feminine, we have to soften to find those hard edges again. We have to soften into, merge into nature, and then use our awareness to really recognize the hard patterns that are ingrained in nature that show us how everything's created. The sacred geometry, the multiplication of everything, the fractals. So anyway, another energy that I'm feeling really strongly is Capri, the Egyptian god. And I actually went ahead and pulled him out of my deck because I was feeling him so strongly. And I feel like his message really resonates. He's the god of the sun's daily rebirth and of cyclical renewal. Represented by a scarab, Capri is black as darkness, the beginning of all things. He symbolizes the transformation of humans in their stages: life, death, rebirth. The victory of light over darkness, of life over death, the becoming, the generative power symbol of rebirth. His appearance might announce the end of a cycle, a breakdown, disappointments, or the wrecking of affections. But everything is constantly changing, like day and night, and Capri encourages you to get up every day with the light of faith and hope, because after the night, a new day always dawns. So, the dung beetle collects the dung, the shit, right? And rolls it up into a ball and just keeps rolling, collecting all of this, and then lays its eggs in this ball of dung. And then the dung dries out in the sun, and all these new beetles are reborn. So that's how we find the gold in the hardest situations, in the stuff we don't want to look at, right? Like the excretion, the waste. And I feel like Spirit's really trying to reassure us right now that we're going to come out on the other side, because there's always a divine spark. Always, always, always. And even when we die, like I believe in reincarnation, we come back again. So it's really reminding us to remember the cycles of nature, remember the cycles of life, death, and rebirth. I wanted to pull I'm also feeling the presence of Inanna, who is Queen of Heaven and Earth. And this is that bridge again that we're talking about. But it's really interesting. It is a bridge of heaven and earth when you can integrate the subconscious and the conscious. That's when you start coming back into those magical creative powers. When you reclaim those parts of yourself that maybe have been discarded, or you see what magic was hiding in them. I wanted to pull a card from my Hidden Worlds deck because this energy is very ethereal, as is this deck. Oh, wow. The Tree of Illumination. Truth, revelations, and understanding. And I love how this brings us back to the tree. So there's a lot of things that are coming to light. We just had the Venus gate of the third eye. So we've been releasing these illusions and these veils that have been keeping us from seeing what's actually happening. I'm just seeing like when you reveal something, like when there's like a stage and a curtain that's just being dropped. And it's like, oh boy. Sometimes you're like, oh my God, what's up? Like, I didn't realize this was what was on the other side. And in another way, you might be like, oh wow, like look at these amazing like gifts and miracles. It can kind of go either way. And this brings me back to the tree as well. I'm feeling like Carl Jung's quote as well, your branches can only reach to heaven as high as your roots have reached to hell. I feel like I recite that quote all the time. But that's the tree of life. That's what we come here and we learn through our challenges and our triumphs. And so I want to pull a tree angel card right now. I'm hanging out with Douglas Fir today, my Douglas Fir oil. He's all about standing tall, feeling protected, feeling safe. Oh man, it's a good time to go hug a tree. So let's see what tree spirit wants to come through for us today. Field maple. Oh, this just came up recently for a friend of mine. And let's see what its message is. Do it. Get the job done. You have your hands and words, the strength and the understanding. It's time to act. Weave love in your work and sow the sweetest fruits for tomorrow's children. Doesn't that just sum up like this beetle energy so much? And it really feels like what I was saying about how the sun is in Scorpio, and I'm thinking about how Scorpio is ruled by Mars and Pluto. Mars is the masculine, right? And Pluto feels like a masculine energy as well. It can be a little bit more amorphous for me, but this is really about healing the masculine and seeing where do we need to take action, and what do we need to clean up. That's been coming up for me a lot. I've been actually feeling re-energized to get out and like clean up the things I need to clean up. And we're being asked to clean up our world, clean up our act, which will then help clean up the world. And I am feeling drawn to Isis right now too. Let's see what Isis has to say for us. Any support for this eclipse? Ooh, talismans of potency, charging sacred objects of power. So this is really about working with tangible objects, and this makes total sense with this Scorpio-Taurus axis. Scorpios are magic, right? And can be in our intention. And so if you're feeling like connecting with an object like a crystal or a tree or a piece of jewelry, something you have around, you can charge this object with your sacred intention and carry it around with you, which can help you feel it's whatever your intention is. It can be protection, it can be for healing, it can be for creativity, it can be for your willpower to get what you need to do done. So this can be a really awesome time for that, because let me tell you, it's a time for high magic. I know a lot of people say don't do things on the eclipse, rituals and things like that, but this feels more like, I like that as a supportive talisman. I don't think that, and I actually don't know if I even agree with that. Like, I feel like people should follow their own intuition and decide what's right for them, like whether or not they have some kind of ritual. If you're feeling called from spirit to do something, then I would follow that. I wouldn't listen to, somebody else saying, don't do that. Let's see. Psychic abilities. Here's the third eye again. This time of year is the thinning of the veil. And again, we've had this third eye Venus gate we just went through, dropping the illusions. It's a really good time to sit and meditate and get higher guidance, connect with your ancestors, connect with your guides, even connecting with guides for healing, and just being sure you know how to ground and protect yourself to work with those guides in a way for your highest good, for from unconditional love, truth, light, and your highest good. And I'm going to pull one more card from my goddess deck. I told you I had a lot of cards out. I got two. She's back. I love it. Bridget. She came up in my last reading. And changing woman cycles. So it's all about leaning into the cycles of change, remembering it's our divine spark that is always the same. It's always true to the core. It's how we change and the way we navigate life. That's the change. And it's so wild, like how we are so afraid of that sometimes, because it means an old identity has to go. But isn't this what we want? Don't we want the gold? Like, don't we want the divine spark? And she's, in my last reading, Bridget came through to tell us to hold the light for the world. Hold our inner light. Keep diving into that creative aspect of you. Not to ignore what's happening in the world, but can you just allow what needs to flow through? Let it go. Don't hold on to the negative feelings. Let them go. And allow this spark to stay ignited, because we really need it. It will stay ignited no matter what, but it could be, this third eye ability could become even stronger, even brighter, even more seen. Illumination, revelations. If we can hold our light, it's not even about going out and like telling everybody the truth. It's about speaking your own truth, staying in integrity, and holding your light, because your vibrational light really does cast light on shadows around you. And so we've been developing, how to not be afraid of this anymore. Like, It's about reclaiming our power of transmutation and alchemy to be willing to see this stuff and see the things within ourselves and see what could be a higher version of that. How could I actually use that to create something? How can I create new life from this situation that I'm going through? What is there to be learned? What's the gold? And to just surrender to the flow. It's such a marriage of the masculine and the feminine being bridged together right here. Surrendering to the flow, surrendering to the cycles, taking an initiative and holding the light, moving forward towards your vision. And that's where magic happens. So I love you guys. I hope that you're faring well during these tumultuous times. And oh, wow. One other thing I have to point out really quick is Bridget's holding the dandelion. And that medicine came up recently as well, which is just all about letting go, detoxing, letting go of anger, letting go of these emotions that are designed to flow through us, like the cycles, but we hold on to them. So let it go. All right. Love you guys.